In the elder days, before the trembling of earth and the warring of men, there was only the vast and unmeasured dome of heaven, which the people of the steppes named Tengri, the eternal blue. Beneath that immeasurable vault, the sun coursed its golden road, and the moon traced her silver path, while the countless stars shone as watchfires upon the silent plain of night. In that high and radiant dwelling abode the sons of the sky, spirits mighty and fair, who were fashioned of the first light when time was young. Chief among them were Ulgen, lord of brightness, and Erlik, who was born after, dark of countenance and deep in cunning. To Ulgen was given the stewardship of all that shone with purity and flame. The constellations bowed before his hand, and he set them in their appointed places with care, as a shepherd sets his flock upon the meadows. His raiment was woven of starlight, and in his voice was the peal of thunder, yet kind and steadfast was his rule. But Erlik, his brother, was given dominion over the deep places of shadow. He roamed the dark gulfs where no light could pierce, and there he gathered the mists and the ashes, weaving them into forms of his own devising. His eyes were as coals buried in embers, and his thoughts turned ever to mastery. For though his father had granted him power over the hidden realms, he beheld with envy the wide dominion of Ulgen, whose throne was set high among the bright stars. Long did the brothers dwell apart, each tending his appointed realm. The sky was still, the stars untroubled, and the earth below was wrapped in innocence, for no strife yet marred the firmament. Yet even in that age, when the world was young and unscarred, whispers moved in the deeps, and shadows lengthened beneath the silver vault. For in the heart of Erlik there grew a seed of unrest, a yearning that would not be stilled, and the harmony of the heavens trembled as a leaf before the coming storm. In the far reaches of the sky, where no sunbeam strays and the stars grow faint like dying embers, Erlik brooded in silence. The dark dominions weighed heavy upon him, for they were filled with smoke and ash, and in them no song was sung, nor did the light of joy dwell. He gazed upward to where Ulgen's throne gleamed like a beacon among the constellations, and envy gnawed at his spirit as worms gnaw the roots of ancient trees.
Why should he be set above me? Are we not both born of Tengri, wrought of the same flame? Yet he holds the heights while I wander in gloom. His hand orders the heavens while mine gathers dust.
Then Erlik began to weave mischief. He wandered the starless deeps and called forth spirits of smoke and shadow, beings restless as sparks in a wind. To them he spoke with honeyed tongue, promising a kingdom of night where their power would wax full. Many bent the knee to him, for they wearied of Ulgen's brightness, which burned their eyes and bound their steps. Yet the harmony of heaven faltered not at once, for Ulgen knew not the full measure of his brother's designs. He beheld the stars that faltered in their courses, dimming as though veiled by smoke, and he wondered, some hand has marred the shining order. So the seed was sown, hidden deep in the soil of envy. Its roots crept through the fabric of the firmament, binding shadows to shadows. And though the heavens still shone with majesty, the first crack had opened in their perfection, a fissure that none could heal. For where envy takes root, strife must one day blossom, and the doom of the stars was sealed before any battle had begun. It came to pass that the silence of the heavens was shattered, and the stillness that had endured since the dawn of time gave way to tumult. For Erlik, having gathered to himself legions of spirits wrought of shadow, rose up from the dark gulfs with banners of smoke unfurled. Like a storm from the horizon he advanced, and his host blotted the stars as a swarm of locusts blots the summer sun. Then Ulgen beheld the rising darkness, and his heart was moved to wrath. He stood upon his high throne of stars, and his voice was as the rolling of 1,000 thunders when he cried,
Brother, what madness drives thee to war against the will of Tengri? Was not thine own dominion granted thee in measure? Why dost thou covet the realm of the skies which is not thine?
Am I forever to dwell in ashes while thou sittest among the bright fires? No longer shall I bow before thy light, Ulgen. The heights shall be mine, and the heavens shall burn with my dominion.
Thus the first war of the skies was kindled. The firmament trembled as the hosts of light and shadow clashed. Ulgen's warriors came forth, radiant spirits clad in flame, wielding spears of lightning and shields of shining frost. Erlik's minions answered with brands of smoke and weapons hewn of fire unholy, that devoured rather than gave light. Stars shook in their places, torn from their ancient paths, and fiery comets were loosed as javelins across the abyss. The constellations were riven and remade in the fury of that strife, and their shapes remain as memorials of battle even to this day. Some fell utterly, their brightness quenched, and they became wandering sparks cast adrift in the deeps. The vault of heaven quivered as if it would break, and the earth below shuddered in fear, for the echoes of the struggle reached even the fields of men. Long raged the war, fierce beyond reckoning, until the heavens themselves seemed a sea of flame and shadow where light and darkness strove without mercy. At length the fury of the strife grew unbearable, and the dome of heaven itself quaked as though it would sunder. The bright host of Ulgen stood steadfast, though many were wounded and cast into the abyss. Yet Ulgen, lord of the upper fires, waxed in might, for he called upon the hidden power of Tengri, and his voice thundered across the firmament like the breaking of mountains. Then Ulgen lifted high his spear of lightning, and the skies blazed white as though dawn had come in sudden wrath. With that stroke he smote Erlik upon the brow, and the dark lord reeled, his crown of shadow shattering into sparks that fled across the night. A cry of anguish burst from him, so dreadful that even the stars dimmed their flame in terror. His armies faltered, their banners of smoke torn and scattered as dust before the storm. Erlik was cast down. From the heights of heaven he fell, tumbling through the gulfs of air like a star torn from its place. He struck the lower worlds with a sound of ruin, and the under-kingdoms opened wide to receive him. There he was chained in iron, beneath mountains of ash and rivers of flame, and the dominion of darkness was sealed as his lot until the end of ages. Yet though bound in the abyss, Erlik's spirit was not wholly quenched. His voice crept upward like a foul mist, and his whispers reached even the high places of the sky.
I am not ended. Though thou hast hurled me down, brother, still shall my hand reach upward. The sons of men shall heed my call, and the fire of envy shall burn in their hearts as it burned in mine. Never shalt thou dwell untroubled.
So Erlik became the lord of the underworld, master of iron, smoke, and torment. He ruled the dead with bitterness, and his name was spoken in fear among shamans and sages. Yet ever he lifted his gaze toward the far constellations, hungering for the throne he had lost, and the heavens kept their watch with unease, for the wound of his fall was not healed. When the tumult was ended and the heavens lay scarred with ruin, Ulgen ascended once more to the heights, weary yet steadfast. The stars hung crooked in their courses, many torn from their ancient stations, and the firmament bore the wounds of war. Yet Ulgen would not suffer chaos to endure.
By the will of Tengri I shall bind the heavens anew.
Then with words of power he summoned forth the spirits of dawn and of frost, of storm and of fire, who had not fallen in the strife. To each he gave a charge, that they should guard the sky and keep the constellations in their order. The spirit of dawn he set at the eastern gate to herald each rising sun. The spirit of storm he placed amid the clouds to watch the thunders. The spirit of frost he stationed upon the northern reaches, to preserve the purity of the stars. And to the spirit of fire he entrusted the comets, to roam as heralds of warning. Ulgen himself took up the stars that had been cast down and set them once more in their paths, shaping constellations as signs for men. Where Erlik had smitten with his malice, Ulgen healed with his hand of light, though the scars remained as eternal witness. And the North Star, steadfast and unyielding, he hallowed as the nail of heaven, that the firmament should not falter again. Then Ulgen swore a covenant before Tengri, that so long as the sky endured, its order would be upheld, and light should prevail over darkness.
So long as envy burns in the hearts of mortals, the echo of my brother's rebellion shall resound upon the earth. But I shall grant to the wise and the steadfast the knowledge of the stars, that they may discern the truth and stand unshaken.
Thus was the firmament restored, and the heavens regained their majesty. But beneath their splendor lay the memory of strife, hidden yet unforgotten, as fire smolders beneath the ash. So it is told that the heavens, though radiant, bear the record of that ancient strife. The constellations gleam as scars wrought in fire, their shapes recalling the battles of Ulgen and Erlik. To mortal eyes they are but patterns of light scattered upon the dome of night. Yet to the wise they are runes carved in the firmament as witness to a doom once threatened and a victory dearly won. In the stillness of winter nights, when the air is sharp and the frost bites deep, shamans lift their eyes to the North Star and bow their heads. For they name it the nail of heaven, set fast by Ulgen's hand, lest the vault should again be rent by rebellion. Around it wheel the lesser stars, their paths steady, their courses sure, and men know thereby that the covenant endures, but not all is peace. For from the deeps beneath the world Erlik's voice is said still to rise, borne upon winds of smoke and sighs of the dead. In dreams he comes, whispering envy and strife, sowing discord among men. Those who turn their ears to him walk paths of ruin, and their hearts grow heavy with the same darkness that drove him to folly. Yet those who heed Ulgen find strength in the stars, and the light of dawn lifts their gaze beyond despair. So the people of the steppes, wandering beneath the endless blue by day and the boundless stars by night, remember. Around their fires they tell how Ulgen cast down his brother, and how the heavens themselves trembled at the war. They say that when a star falls, it is a spark torn loose from the crown of Erlik, a token of his ceaseless hunger. But when the dawn comes, painted in crimson and gold, they see in it Ulgen's promise that light shall endure, and thus the sky remains a book of memory, vast and eternal. Every star is a word, every constellation a verse, and altogether they are the song of the first war. Though ages pass and kingdoms fall, the heavens declare still the strife of Ulgen and Erlik until the world's last twilight.